What's going on, fellow growers? Andrew from Tail Wagon Farms here. Today I just want to go over some VEGO Garden Bed stuff. So got a couple more VEGO Garden Beds that we just bought, and we have 17 other ones that we've had for about 4 years now. Bought some because they were on a pretty good sale, and just want to go over what's in the box, how to put them together, and give you a long-term review on what it's like to own them. So thanks for coming out today. If you've been watching gardening YouTube for any amount of time, you're familiar with the metal coated beds that there's all different varieties of. You got VEGO Gardens, Birdies, a couple other companies that do it. They're basically metal coated beds that'll last a long time. They're usually pretty expensive, a lot more readily available now than they were. The beds I got here are the 9-in-1 variety. They're about 17 inches tall, and yeah, you can make them all different configurations, and show you what's in the box here today. So once I open the box, what you get is all your hardware. This is a top rubber protective for the rim so you don't cut yourself. This is what all the hardware came in. Got some little spare caps. That's on the newer version of it. Our original ones didn't have that. And all the different pieces. Got side pieces and corners, and you can change the shape depending on what you'd like it to be. So, as with all things, it comes with an instruction manual. It's pretty basic. Remove plastic film that's on the panels, put the straight pieces together, then attach corners and make it the shape that you desire. But what I've found, and makes things go a lot quicker, is we have little food service bowls here. Let's take all the hardware and we separate it into nuts, bolts, and washers. So I'm gonna do that right now. This really saves time when you're putting it together. There are two different types of nuts included. There's just your regular looking nuts, and then also capped safety nuts that go on the top 2 rows. Now that we got our hardware sorted, just like to talk about a couple tools. It comes with this little wrench thing. Does all right. It's not the greatest. I found that having a ratcheting 10mm wrench and a drill works best. You need a Phillips head screwdriver to put these together. If you don't have a drill, it does not come with the screwdriver, but it does come with this. So you don't need much tool-wise. I like to have a box cutter handy, but that's not necessary. First step in putting these together, I think, is the biggest pain, and that is taking the plastic off of each panel. These panels right here, they have plastic on the front side and the back side, and you got to take it off of each panel. So it'll be a while, but that's next step. VEGO Garden does do a pretty nice job at packaging these. In all of the beds that I've had maybe 1 or 2 bent corners on a panel, and you can just straighten them back out. I will say that removing the plastic does take as long as building the beds, so be ready for that. Now that I got all the plastic off, it's time to start putting these panels together. These panels here, I'm only going to use 10 of them out of the 12 because I want to make a 6.5 foot by 2 foot bed. So we're going to start by putting our flat panels together. I found the best way to do this, just line them up. Get them started. Take your screw, head goes to the outside. Flip it over. The ones at the top get the protected ones. So I usually just finger tighten it just a little bit. Flip it over. Head goes to the outside. washer. The ones at the bottom get your normal nuts. And just continue for all of these. Remember that the nuts and the washers go on the inside, and I usually like to just finger tighten everything to start so that I can make sure everything still lines up, and then I'll come through at the end and tighten them up completely. The top 2 rows get the safety nuts, and the bottom 4 rows just get normal nuts. They protect you from getting cuts. And as far as VEGO Garden says, these beds take 40 minutes to build on their website. That's a lie. I have never done it in less than an hour, and I've built a bunch of these. And if you get the tall ones, you're looking at an hour and a half minimum, and it works a lot better with 2 people for the large beds. So I got the corner panels done and the straight panels all attached to each other to lay out the bed into a 6.5 by 2 foot bed. Just as a caution, might want to wear gloves. I cut myself on the corner of one of the panels. They do say in the manual to wear gloves and closed-toed shoes. Not too bad of a cut, but just a word of caution. So what we want to do is we want to take these side panels and we're going to be attaching them to here. You want to look and make sure that all of your tops are up. So we got our nice safety nuts on the top. And everything's just been finger tightened so far. Just get another. Sorry about the chickens. They are extra excited for spring today. So we want our corner panels to be outside of our straight panels. Get the tops attached. Get the bottoms attached, just finger tight once again. And then we're going to repeat for all 4 corners. If you're having trouble getting one of the holes to line up, just lift up on a corner. It should line up. That's why we leave everything finger tight until the final step when we tighten everything down. Now that all the panels are finger tight and it's pretty much as square as I want it to be, I'm not going to add the cross brace that came with it because it's a shorter bed. I'm going to be using that on a really long bed later on. You can do it if you want. I'm going to go through now with the drill and the wrench and tighten everything up, get it good and snug, and get it ready for its final placement. Let's talk tightening real quick. The hardware is not the greatest of quality. It's not super hardened and it's prone to stripping. So if you are using a drill, make sure the clutch is engaged so that it won't round off the heads. And things just need to be good and snug. They don't need to be gripping as hard as you can tightening. Last step of finishing off these beds is putting on the rubber protective strip. This keeps you from catching on some of the sharp edges with your clothing or your skin, and it makes it a little nicer to lean up against. So super simple. You just press it on, push it all the way around, push it down snugly, and just continue along. Now to finish off this strip, just take some sort of metal snips, give it a cut. Pull the last little piece out, and it looks good. So all I got left to do is put this bed in place. That looks good. Now what you've been waiting for, our long-term review. We've had 17 of these beds for 4 years now. We have 3 of the deep beds, which are 32 or 34 inches deep, and the rest are the 17-inch beds. If money wasn't an object, we would definitely go with all the tall beds, but They're a lot more expensive to purchase, and also they use a lot more soil. Not a huge fan of packing the bottom with leaves and sticks and stuff like that because the sides of the beds do collapse in a little bit as it settles. So we've just been filling them up with soil all the way. They've lasted pretty well over the past 4 years. No real noticeable damage to them, no real weathering. They still look like the day we bought them. So that is a definite positive. We also really like that they're easy for us to set up row covers over or insect netting. We put some electrical conduit that's bent, and then we drape our row cover or insect netting over and just use little binder clips. So all in all, I gotta say, we love these beds. Definitely recommend them. They seem to hold up really well, and just keep an eye out for prices, for sales on them. We paid $153 for each of these beds on Walmart.com, and yeah, they run specials on them all the time. So once again, we are not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, so this is our honest opinion. Well, fellow growers, as you can see, I got all 3 beds built. And yeah, just need to install irrigation and put some soil in them. Well, I want to thank you for coming out today to Tail Wagging Farms, for seeing how to build a VEGO garden bed and also my long-term review on them. If you learned anything, please leave it down in the... Please leave us a like and subscribe, and put any questions down in the comments. Let us know if you're building beds this year too. So have a wonderful day and happy growing.